What's up, guys? It's me, Alexander Jarvis, founder of alexanderjarvis.com and 50Folds. So you got the SaaS financial model, and now you need to fill the bad boy in. So in this video, we're going through one of the most important sheets because it's the one which is going to be burning a hole in your pocket, which is your staff and general sort of office expenses. Sheet isn't the most complicated one to get your head around. It's just one which is probably going to take you a lot of time to do right because, well, you need to forecast how many people you need to hire, etc. So that can be, quite difficult for you to do. So what I would probably recommend doing is getting pen and paper and mapping out what your hiring plan is, or if you have a hiring plan already, trying to kind of stick to that rather than just trying to do it all in Excel, because it'll just be easier for you to get your head around, and then do a quick and scrappy version and then go into the model and put a version in which sort of makes sense but it's not perfect. Then look at your, say, KPIs or your forecast sheet, see how much you're spending, and then improve it. I've had a time where this guy was just giving everyone crazy salaries and bonuses, realized he was spending way too much, and all that work that was put into detail was wasted. So try and iterate a bit when you're doing these models. So one big change for the staff sheet between this version 4.1 and I think whatever 2 point something that was done, I guess, like 2 years ago, is I add in a way to actually model this out in a more simple way based on feedback that I got from a dude. And so as we talked in the third video we had about toggles, you can switch between basic and detailed. Okay, so we'll do the basic one first and then we'll go into the detailed one. So as usual, there's a guide at the top, which we'll skip. You can read if you want. All the links come in here. And then with summary, all these links go out. Okay. So here, this is basically choosing between basic and detailed. So this driver is basically going to push the whole model. Okay. So we'll do the basic version first. So you stick in what your taxes and benefits are on payroll. It's just one number. Okay. It's more difficult than that. Then you have to update it yourself. Now we're going to be dealing with, this should be G&A. So G&A is going to be basically management, general office people, even secretaries, I guess. R&D is going to be basically tech nerds. Sales and marketing are people who work in sales and marketing. So G&A is generally the catch-all for like everything else. So let's say you start out with one person, because it's you and your dog, but he's not on the payroll. And then you're going to end up at 2 people. And then, I don't know, it could be like 2,200, whatever people. Okay, lots of stuff. You just type in the numbers when you're happening. Okay, this is cumulative. Do the same thing for R&D. Just type in when you're going to hire people. And then we're going to hire 25 engineers in Lithuania or something here. Okay, cool. So you just put in R&D, your G&A, S&M, and then you can do the same thing for your COGS if you don't want to use the automated sheets, which is sales and customer care. So if you don't want to use the automations here, turn these sheets off. And support staff, you turn these guys off. Simples. There's no automated people coming in here. So we'll see channel sales. There are people here. I don't know. If you don't want to have channel sales, you turn that off. Staff sheet. So we see that there's no automated people here. Okay. So for COGS, everyone who's COGS, so customer care, support, internal engineering, customer success, whatever it is, we'll say, okay, we're going to start doing customer success here. Then we're going to add customer care people here, and then whatever it is, right? These are going to add up and be aggregate over time. If you want to use the automations, so we'll deal with, say, S&M first. So maybe you did your first run, you weren't actually just using the automated sheet, you wanted to calculate yourself. We'll say, well, actually, we don't have any people here. Go to sales support, turn it back on, and you'll see that we're having automated people, right? Account execs, sales development reps. So now we have 7 S&M people, okay? So maybe you'll assume that you're not using this automation. You set these to 0 and you use the automations, okay? Same thing for COGS, right? You can assume that you want to do the big numbers here, or you can have small numbers. We turn back on support staff. All right, we'll see that there are now automations in here. So we can see that we're hiring people because we need them, all right? And these will add up into your COGS. So if we add in 10 here, see the total is actually increasing for the total COGS number, right? So total COGS, total S&M, and then we have these, right? Or total S&M. I should probably be bolded, but anyway. So that's how you're going to input the ghetto version. Your people, bear in mind the automations if you have them on or off, in case you want to just bucket everyone in for yourself. This section just adds up the aggregate number of people. Oh, sorry, these are new people. These aren't aggregate. This is aggregate, right? Now I just put in the costs. So G&A, R&D, and S&M. You're going to have to put, because this is a simple version, you're going to put in the average salary of people. If you give them a bonus, you put in the percentage bonus, which is going to be paid at end of year. If you're going to increase the salary at, say, Series A or Series B, what is that increase and when is the date? Type in the date, and then we can see the numbers get bigger. Do the same for your automated people, then, any COGS people you have, and that basically is going to take an average, okay? Bonus calculations. So this is going to take your bonus calculations because we want to pay them out to see at the year end. So 131,000 here, 498,000 here. And that's all you basically need to do in order to fill out the ghetto version or the simple version of the staff salary sheet, okay? So now we're going to unhide. We're going to hide that and go to the detailed version. See everything changes. Whoop. So here we have a line fundraisers. This is basically just a reminder of when you raise money. And so if you want to give them an increase in salary, you're like, okay, this is August 2019. That's when, whatever, 1 Aug 2019 is when that happens. And so that's when the salary is going to get bigger. I don't know, so you see, whatever, getting paid $200,000 a month now. Woohoo! Great company to work at. So you can put an increase date. If you want to terminate people because you're just keeping track and stuff, then you can, terminate people of the end date here, which basically means they stop getting paid. So I don't know, 1 November 2019. You see that they're suddenly on the bread line because they ain't getting paid anymore. No more money for business analysts. Boo hoo hoo hoo. So you put in the payrolls and taxes. You're going to type in the title of people here. You can put in people's names, like, all right, he's a CEO, bitch. You have COO, right? I don't know, like head of something. You get the idea, right? Then Jim Jones, Mary, quite contrary. Okay, the next thing you have in the G&A section, this is all G&A, right? So the next have G&A section is automation for recruiters, okay? So if you want to scale, you need to hire recruiters. So this is on a per monthly basis. If you need to hire more than 3 people in a month, put in 3, and that means you have to hire a recruiter. So you're going to pay them $38,000 to get a 20% bonus. And then this recruitment section will automatically scale up by hiring new recruiters. By the way, you assume you don't fire them. So if you end up hiring 6 people in a month, then you're going to have 2 people for the rest of your life, basically. Because you're not just going to keep hiring and firing recruiters. If you are hiring consultants or headhunters or something, you can add in a line item for an assumption of what that will be somewhere down here, okay? Fine. So also, if you press this button on group, suddenly you can add a lot more people in. You can add more rows in if you want by doing this, just using the formulas again, okay? And just all this shit works, right? If you end up having a ton of people. I've just done this because most people are not going to have a billion people starting out, and they can use automations as something to scale up around the services people or salespeople. But that's basically, you don't really need to understand how the calculations work. I do that for you. So do the exactly same thing for R&D. Now we'll do S&M. So something you need to bear in mind is here you're going to put in like normal people or whatever. Now, if you have account execs or AEs who are like the bedrock of your sales department, I want to know if you've hired them already, because otherwise the calculations are done in the sales sheet. I need to know what your existing capacity is. So if you already have 3 sales guys, in this case 2, I want to know that, and I assume that they're already at full productivity. And so you're not going to need to hire new sales guys to hit your revenue targets if they're relatively low at the start, because you already have 2 sales guys. Now, if you have existing salespeople, you want to type in this name exactly, which says account exec. I thought I had something here which said write it. Okay, maybe I deleted it. So use this exact title. Use this exact title to add your current salespeople in. Okay. So a question I had today actually from a dude was, how do I manage commissions for sales guys? To make this simpler, what I did is I basically assumed that salespeople eventually hit full productivity. Okay. And so that dictates how many people you need, and therefore you need this target revenue number. Okay. So that if they're actually at full productivity, they're hitting their targets, at which point they should be getting their full OTE, or on target earnings. So your on target earnings, basically salary plus the commissions that they're getting. Okay. So you're going to put in the salary here of 60K, whatever the number is. And then you want to calculate what bonuses they're going to achieve if they hit their full productivity targets. Okay, so I don't know, 40% of salary, whatever that number is, but do a backwards calculation to figure out a dollar amount to find that relative to your salary, and then convert that into percentage number here. Okay, so that's how you're going to deal with OTE, commissions for sales guys. Make sure if you have existing people, you use the exact title, because I use whatever function to look for these people and then add them into the sales staff sheet. So that's important to do if you have salespeople already, okay? Because I've basically figure out existing sales staff capacity, right? So I have 2 people here, 2 full productivity, which is 6,000, means $12,000 of existing capacity, right? Then we have automations here, okay? So everyone you're going to hire in the future is automatically calculated. So we have AEs, SDs, SDRs, and TAs. They're automatically calculated in here. So we'll see 7 in total. See that we have 7 or something here. 5, 6, 7, right? And I do calculations for what the salaries are and stuff, and it gets the aggregate number here. So we have 7 people, or 5 account executives times by 80K divided by 12 equals that number, and you can put in whatever the bonus rate is. The same logic as the account execs, right? Salary, how much you're paying them. I don't know if there's an increase in the future, probably not, but whatever. And you do that here. So these are automatic calculations, so that if you scale up and down your revenue, you don't have to keep on trying to figure out how many salespeople or whatever you need to hire again. And then we have channel sales here as well. This is automatically calculated as well, but that comes from the channel sales sheet over here. Okay, so total channel sales staff. Basically, exactly the same thing happens for the COGS. You put in whoever you're going to hire, but you don't have the same thing with this capacity thing already. These are all calculated automatically from the support sheet. So we'll see the people here. No, people here. 4 of them or something. You're going to feed into here, put in the salaries, bonuses if you're increasing the salary or whatever, and these are automatically calculated for you, which is awesome. So that's all how you're doing your staff. Now you want to deal with all the other costs. So no one's got time to calculate how much money you're going to spend on pencils and shit. Like, what a waste of time. Or even like individual line items about using Slack or something. So I try to figure out the simplest way to do this, but still do it relatively accurately, and also in a way where you can kind of think about it pragmatically. So we've got 3 main cost buckets here: office, onboarding, travel. Office is stationary, phones, like, your general stuff that people need. So G&A, R&D, S&M, COGS, right? How much do people spend on average? So sales and marketing people use lots of coloring in pens and crayons or something. So they spend more. These guys spend less, whatever. You can increase that cost if you want on a certain date, which is maybe your Series A. Again, you can reference this to when you plan on fundraising, which pulls out of the forecasting model. So here we're raising 10 million at this date. So maybe that's the date you can increase, but whatever. So put in whatever cost is. This is going to times by the number of people you have to get to the cost. Onboarding cost only happens with new people, which is why you can see that there are numbers and then they go 0 sometimes. This only happens when you hire new people. And that's laptops, desk, chairs, whatever you need for a new person. So every time you need to do that, so like, I don't know, say the nerds get 5K of a startup package because they're using, I don't know, they've got NVIDIA cards and whatever for data science and shit. I don't know. Whereas the G and the guys spend less or something, just, whatever your numbers are. And you have travel. So maybe the execs are traveling around a lot, or maybe your sales and marketing people are traveling along a lot. So like $1,000 a month per person, per sales and marketing person. So you'll see how much you're going to, spend on those. And then you've got basically the catch-all for like everything else. So office rent, utilities, it's a G&A category. So you can, I don't know, if you want to recategorize things, do this. So this is going to times by the number of people you have. So say $200 per person equals, I don't think we've got 7 people. So that's going to be about $1,400 a month. And that gets categorized as being in G&A. So you can change these categories if you want. Then we have, I don't know, service costs, lawyers and things, entertainment, subcontractors, whatever you want to have, you can allocate them to buckets. All right. So I've got a hodgepodge of formulas in here just to make templates kind of if you want. So you can basically do whatever you want. Like if you want to add more rows, I would just do this and copy the formula. Like, so maybe I like that formula or I like the way that's been calculated, and then you can copy them in. So it's generally safe to kind of add rows in here if you do exactly what I just did now, because the totals are what matter, okay? So you'll see totals. Like if you have shit like this, then that's a problem because you're going to miss costs. So make sure that the summations, if you're going to start messing around with my models, are correct, okay? So the totals always need to add up. And then if you add new rows, you want to categorize them to whatever they are, okay? And then up top here in the summary, these have these like SUMIF functions, okay, which look at R&D, find everything which is R&D. So we'll see everything here where it says, okay, it doesn't really have it, COGS, S&M, R&D, right? R&D is 100,620, right? Where is that number? 100,620, okay? So if you categorize things properly, the SUMIF functions pull everything up. So you can add things in if you want, do whatever, use different formulas if you want. If there's a cost in the month, it's getting charged. It's simple. And add up the totals, and there's pretty charts and stuff at the bottom. So it's not the hardest sheet in the world to do. It's just going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because it involves thinking on your end. But generally, follow the model, read the comments, watch this video again, and you should understand basically what's going on. So if you like the video, feel free to like, comment, whatever, send me some love. If there are things which you're not sure about, feel free to shout out in the comments and I'll answer. If there's something which I really missed, and it's like, Alex, you just did a shit job at doing that, I'm trying out videos here right now, guys. This is like my 3rd hour of video. Let me know and I will correct it. Otherwise, spend some time on the model and you'll understand this sheet. It's fine. Okay, guys, next video that you're going to watch, if you're watching this in series, is going to be COGS expenses calculations, which is basically the support staff sheet. Not too complicated. There's basic assumptions and you'll be fine. So what's the next video? And off you go. Keep hustling.